Alright, so if you haven't already done so, make sure you check out part 1 to this video where I show you how to achieve your perfect Bantu knots. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into this and show you guys how I turn my Bantu knots into a high puff with some nice slick edges, and it's a really cute little hairstyle for, every day on the go. Alright, so these are my Bantu knots that I previously did the night before. You want to make sure they are fully dry before taking them down, that way they don't frizz up. And the first thing I'm going to do is just apply a little bit of this Argan Oil to my hands, any extra frizzies, and give it a little more shine while taking them down. Don't be like me. I'm like kind of rough with taking them down, and I don't know if I cut them out or not, but I did run into a couple snags, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take all of these down, and then we'll continue with this video. Okay, so now I have them all taken down. I usually go back through this with like a pick just to cover up some of those parts in there, but because I really want this to last a little bit longer, I know I need to get my hands out of them before I mess them up. I'm just kind of going to just separate them with my fingers, just kind of get down to the root just a little bit, just to kind of bring those parts together, because I'm gonna pull it all up into a puff anyway, and you won't be able to see any of that, and I can just shape my puff from there. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Excuse me. We're gonna go ahead and get started on making this puff. You're gonna need some water, some EcoStyler Gel, whatever kind of gel works best for you. I have some edge control that's just going to help make sure those edges lay flat, and we have some oil, a hard brush, and a soft Boar bristle brush. You're also going to need an elastic or whatever you use to tie your hair, and optional, you can add a headband or any other decorative piece. I like to put the headband on first, that way I don't mess the puff up when it's time for me to apply the headband. So you just kind of want to start by kind of trying to gather the hair up in the back and pulling it back up from the front. You're going to get everything opened up over there, sorry. And you're going to take your water. You don't want to go too heavy on it, but you're just going to kind of spritz around the front. Try not to get it on the actual ends of your eyebrows because you don't want them to frizz up. So as you can see, I'm just kind of putting it on the parts that I'm going to be brushing, and I kind of work that in, and then I'm going to add some hair oil. That's just going to help to add some moisture and soften the hair up. Anytime I use a gel or anything, I always make sure I use some oil, usually before and after. And for me, it doesn't take a lot of gel to hold my hair down, so I just took just a little bit, and I'm just going to rub it up through the front of my hair and then apply the rest of it in the back. I'm over here dropping stuff all over the place. It's terrible. So now first you want to go in with that hard bristle brush. That's what's going to actually put the hairs into place and actually work all the product through. I like to use two different kinds of brushes because I feel like I get two different results when I use them. And then once you get done with that, you're going to go in with that soft brush. That's just going to smooth all the hairs down, and it's going to make sure all your edges are laying and just give you a much sleeker, much nicer look. Like I said, I'll always go back and add a little bit more oil, just because I find when I add the oil on top of the gel doesn't dry as hard and it makes my hair shinier. Okay, so I'm just working this back in through my hair a little bit more. I actually put the puff up, but I didn't like the position, so I'm just gonna brush it back into a new position. Okay, so this is where you want to take your hair tie or whatever you're going to use. In my case, I have like a satin string, and I'm just kind of tie it and pull it like a drawstring until I get my puff up on top of my head. I know it looks a little funky and crazy right now, but I'm gonna go back in and shape it up. Alright, and usually the way I do this, I just kind of do a drawstring pull and then I just kind of secure it in the back. And now I'm just gonna move it around just a little bit and try to get it nice and shaped up. Brush them edges up again. You really want to make sure your edges are brushed through before you add your scarf onto it, because that's how they're gonna lay once the scarf comes off. Alright, so there we have it. I will be right back. Okay, so it's been a couple minutes. I went and did my makeup, and now I'm just going to take off my scarf and let you guys see it. And I'm going to show you how I brush my baby hairs down. And I mean just kind of the baby hairs. There's not going to be whole sections being brushed out in the front. I'm not really into that kind of look. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and show you guys the end result.